Hey guys, welcome in to Bolt from the Blue Tarot. My name is Sam. I'm an intuitive reader. My vision with these audio tarot recordings is what I'm imagining is I like to do these. I like to listen to tarot recordings while I drive sometimes, or like while I'm out and about. And sometimes readers are emphasizing the art on a card, but I can't pull my phone out of my pocket to check it out. So this is just some tarot on the go. I'm on the go right now. Maybe you're on the go too. And we're going to see what's up for you. I'm going to pull a card from my storybook deck here to see what the general energy is. Ooh, so this is a new one. I made this one today. This is Laura, sad because it's raining. This is from Men in Black 2. This is a reminder of a couple of the Hermetic principles. First is the Hermetic principle of correspondence, principle number 2, and principle number 6, the principle of cause and effect. So in this Men in Black movie, Laura is an alien who doesn't know she's an alien. And it has to be explained to her that she isn't sad because it's raining. Instead, it's raining because she is sad. So in other words, the outside world is reflecting her inner state, right? Because she's a powerful manifester. And this card is a reminder that you too are a powerful manifester. And you might resonate with being a starseed as well. So look into that if you haven't heard of that term. But the law of correspondence reminds us that as within, so without, as above, so below. This is a reminder to solve problems from the realm of cause or from within, the imaginal, the invisible, the spirit, the 5D, if you like. Start there rather than the realm of effect. So the without, the tangible, the physical, the visible, the 3D, right? We think that we've been trained to solve problems by moving things around and taking purposive action in the physical, when the first step should always be finding that kingdom of heaven within, right? Remembering that we have to change things within before we can see change without. And in the case of the rain, that's a literal sort of as above, so below. But there's an extra reminder from this card that comes in to tell you that, the the emotions we're feeling can color how we're seeing our circumstances. So there's a question here about how much is your mental or emotional state coloring how you are viewing things right now. So maybe you've come to this tarot reading with a particular problem, or you've come to it in a particular emotional state, or there is an event, a problem, something going on in your life that you are bringing a specific emotional affect to that's coloring how you're seeing things. I'm interested to see how this comes up in this reading. This is like one of the most important things to understand with manifestation. As within, so without, as above, so below. I've got the First Occult Tarot here, my go-to deck. So we'll see what the story is for you from Spirit. We have the 6 of Coins. This is an energy of transformation for the better, for the positive, for the more balanced. Ooh, we have the 5. 5 of Wands equivalent. So the 5 of Batons. And this is, the key art on this card is of a stork carrying like a bundle that presumably has a gift in it. It has a baby is what we usually think of. So this can be like a gift coming in, or it can be something that you're birthing as a co-creation with the divine. Then we have Typhon. And this is a depiction of the Egyptian god Set, Osiris's brother, and sort of he's the Scar to his Mufasa. Like the Lion King is the story of the myth of Osiris and Horus, as well as Hamlet. But so this is just the devil card. So probably nothing too big here to worry about. Let's see what else we got. 10 of Cups. So in this deck, the 10 of Cups depicts, it's a different feel to it. So this is a depiction of something that happens in the city or a cosmopolitan environment as compared to the country. So I interpret this as conscious rather than subconscious, or public rather than private, outer rather than inner, or like the internet rather than in person. Ooh, and then we have the five of vessels, which is the 5 of cups. And this is like a jealous, acquisitive energy, like this is going to be my second Disney reference, but a Jafar kind of energy, conniving, manipulative, controlling. For me, this is almost always an ego card. Let's see what else, because this is quite a complex sentence that's being formed here. Okay, we have the Hanged Man. The afflictions of life teach prudence is something that this card reminds us. So what's going on here, Spirit? All right, that's all the cards we need, evidently. Let's see. So you may be undergoing some sort of transformation. The key part of this card is a butterfly. It's primarily like a pale yellow and black, but it also has just hints of orange and a stripe of purple on each wing. And these are colors of, it's patterned like a monarch, but it has these extra colors, which give to me like spiritual royalty, that give like, the orange is similar to like a Buddhist monk's robe. So there's like, what I'm getting from this is spiritual transformation. And balance, like things coming into balance. And it's bringing this gift, this rebirth, this creation. And this thing is like this creation is heading towards this devil energy in the collective, this devil energy in like an internet type collective consciousness. So it may be that what you're creating, what you're becoming, what you're embodying is helping to, I don't want to say fight, but because it's such a more soft energy, it's like an overcoming through its very nature. You know how water erodes stone? It's not necessarily a harsh force. It can be just a trickle, but it's so much more powerful than the stone. So there's something here that you're creating that is washing away this devil energy or completely undermining it in a positive way. Okay, and that's why the ego card is coming out. So it's kind of like undermining the ego. From my perspective, the ego card is staring at this like collective consciousness, and it's eyeing it hungrily. So there's like this okay, so the ego is coming out before the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is kind of looking up and over at the ego. The angle is almost perfect, but the ego is facing the other way. So what this is telling me is like possibly this creation of yours, this becoming of yours, like the ego has its own designs on what this thing is. And this might be, I think this is your ego. And this can be very subtle, but it's like the ego is keeping you hamstrung or seeing it from the wrong perspective. Like often the Hanged Man is like, okay, you needed to be hung upside down to get this new perspective. But in this case, what I'm getting is like the ego's got you a bit topsy-turvy about this thing. So it might think that this creation is for glorification of the ego, or it might have its own ideas about what the end point is. Maybe you're creating this thing and it's a co-creation. It's guided. So you don't entirely know, like you don't know, even the very wise cannot see all ends, as Gandalf would say. You don't know the big picture that's going on here, all the reasons why you're being called to create this thing. Like with my channel, I don't know what the end point is. I just know that I was called to do this. It could just be to help me develop a skill, right? But my ego certainly has other designs on it. right? Like, because the ego is always trying to co-opt things, even things that are created from a high vibrational state, um, even non-egoic creations. We always have to check the ego from coming in and adding its influence. The ego would also encourage us to make this thing more mainstream. Like the ego might be whispering about like, oh, cut out that aspect of it that's purely you, because, in the past, the ego is so persuasive. In the past, you and I both know that that hasn't really gone our way, and that's not going to be helpful here. This is different. You're creating from a very different vibrational state than you were in the past, and it's like the ego thinks that the ends are different than the means, which the higher self is using to create this thing. And that's what I'm getting. Let's see if we can't. I'm trying to keep these a little shorter, just the audio ones, quick and dirty reads here in public. So let's see what advice we can get for you guys. Okay, Sherlock Holmes in the Mind Palace. This is a card. This is the Hermit card in the context of go within. I hate to be that guy, guys, but it's time to meditate. It's time to look within, because the ego has, I'm just being drawn to, he's literally doing the steepled fingers, the character on this card, the nefarious body language. The ego has some design in here that's going to trip you up, and it might be very subtle. It's going to be different for everyone. And the call here is to go within. Within, we will discover the as within to figure out why we're seeing what's appearing without. See if I can't get you some more advice. Okay, so I was just talking about Jafar. Aladdin at the mouth of the cave. It's card number 13, you guys. The number of the death card. If you're interested, Laura sad because it's raining, that's card number 83. Sherlock Holmes in the Mind Palace, that's card number 55. So Aladdin at the mouth of this cave, if you haven't seen the movie, you have to be pure of heart to be able to enter the cave. And this card comes up to tell you that you are pure of heart. And to consider if someone may be taking advantage of you, your kindness, or your energy. And this may even be your own ego. Some deals that seem too good to be true sometimes actually are. How can you introduce more reciprocity into a relationship that currently lacks it? Who or what are the Jafars around you, and how do you know? This card comes out like, I don't love when this Five of Vessels with the nefarious Jafar character on it comes out. And I don't like delivering messages like this. But so don't approach this from a perspective of paranoia or anything like that. Often, like the call is coming from inside the house. So just watch for the mask to slip. And if you've decided this is your own ego, this is an aspect of you, when it comes to this creative act, this transformation, this process of becoming, whether it's for a creation of yours or some larger process you're undergoing, watch for the mask to slip is like, just dispassionately observe the actions you're deciding to take and make sure that they're being taken from a place of love rather than a place of fear or lack, right? Make sure that if you are putting out a YouTube video, it's like, you would vouch for every word of that video, the art, the thumbnail, you love it. And you're making it because you love it. It speaks to you, right? Not because you think it's what other people want. The most successful creators and artists are just creating from a place of authenticity. It's the highest vibration. And rather than trying to tailor their stuff to an audience, they're just writing for them, and the audience is attracted to that, frequency of uniqueness. Like I was guided to watch this interview of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, talking about, it was like after she published the second one, And I know everyone has all kinds of feelings about J.K. Rowling these days, but I'm very much a like separate the art from the artist kind of person. And this interview was very interesting because she was talking about how Harry Potter was inspired. So first of all, the way that she described it, she was on a train and she said that the idea just fell into my head, like it had been dropped in there, which, you know, for any intuitive person, we know that's channeled, right? Harry Potter is a channeled creation, and so many of the ideas within it reflect these energetic and spiritual truths. Anyhow, part of this interview, she was just explaining, like, they sort of asked her, did you know that the demographic you were writing for was 9 to 11-year-olds? And she was like, no, I had no idea who the audience would be. I knew that broadly it would appeal to children, but she said every time she had tried to write a story purposefully for children, she said what she produced was, like, basically what she said was it made her throw up in her mouth. Like, it was nothing that she liked the sound of. It was all very, she described it as patronizing. And she didn't like it at all. So instead she just scrapped all of that and she started writing, she said, what I found funny. And I wrote what I found scary, and what I would have found scary as a kid, and what I would have found funny. And I was really just writing for me. And she said, once she realized it was, the only cognizant part of making it for kids that she did was taking out the occasional polysyllable, she said. So the occasional like multi-syllable word and replacing it with a monosyllable. So just like simplifying some of the language to keep it for kids. So yeah, you have to know your audience, obviously, but especially if you haven't found your audience yet, just be yourself, because that's how you will find your audience. And the ego or someone else's voice in your head might be trying to persuade you that, like, this is not palatable, what you're creating authentically, nobody wants this. And that's not true, guys. Quite the opposite. The last thing this card says is a big risk could pay off. So yeah, you might just have to be brave and go into the cave. Whatever this means for you, like hitting send on that thing once you feel like it is wholly and authentically you. Or, if you're a channel, then a wholly authentic co-creation, right? All right, any other advice here? Maybe one more card? No. Okay, we're good. All right, guys, I hope that was useful. I hope that was encouraging. And I hope that you create what makes you happy, what brings you pleasure. Create what you find useful or dynamic or interesting or funny or scary, what tickles you, and then make that. And when the ego starts to kick in and the mask starts to slip and you start to edit to make things more palatable for other people, don't be harsh about it. Just recognize, like, oh, you almost had me there, but I know what's going on, right? Okay, guys, have so much fun creating, and I'll see you in the next one.